Good evening, everybody. Happy Saturday night. We are live here on Ken's 5 with the very latest on the weekend forecast. It was a nice start to the weekend today. I mean, we saw a little bit of cloud cover this morning and a few passing light showers, maybe a few sprinkles, but otherwise fairly quiet and dry, and the sun came out. And that's why temperatures rebounded above average. 86 today was the high. 81's normal, 60's normal in the mornings, and 67 is what we hit today in the overnight, or pre-dawn hours, I should say. But from 67 to 86, that was our progress for the 19th of October. Both those numbers, obviously, a couple ticks above the normal, but get used to it because, yes, we had a cold front earlier this week, but as we progress into next week, it looks like it's going to change a little bit. It doesn't look like it's going to be cold, but more warmth is on the way. And if you have any questions, of course, comment down below. We're talking all things weather here on Ken's 5 for the next 10 to 15 minutes before our 10 o'clock show in about 40 minutes. So tune in then if you can't. No worries. Yes, today was a warm day, but overall pretty decent. Something's happening with the computer here. Got to make sure it works okay. So bear with me. The keyboard is not working. Let's see what we can do. Okay, perfect. So this doesn't include tomorrow, but mainly towards the back half of next week, it looks like instead of 70s and 80s, lower 80s from earlier this week, I think we'll be pushing near 90 a lot of days next week. So will it feel like fall next week? The mornings will feel great, comfortable, lower humidity in the mornings, but overall, in general, next 6 to 10 days above the average. And what does that mean for the latter half of October and more importantly for Halloween? It's looking like more of the same. Now, this is obviously, 12 days out or so, right? We're still a long way out from Halloween, and a lot can change between now and then. Usually a lot does change between now and then. Last year it was cold during Halloween. It looks like this year it will not be cold. Obviously, again, things could change, but right now from what we're seeing, afternoon temperatures 80s, and then maybe for trick-or-treat time, probably in the 70s, which isn't bad. But again, stick with us. We'll continue to update the trend as days come by, and then we get more forecast data in the Ken's 5. All right, so let's see. Jason, you're the only person in the chat for right now, Jason. We just wait till somebody else comments in. Good evening. Hope you're having a wonderful night, Jason. There are 16 people in here. Yeah, absolutely. Maribel, thank you so much. Nobody talks or asks questions. Yeah, it just depends on the day, Jason, when the weather's quiet, there's not much to talk about. That's the thing. But that's why I always say, if you're traveling, if you're going anywhere across the state, if you have any vacation plans coming up, we can talk about that because, our South Texas weather doesn't really change frequently. Hopefully, October, November, we get more cold fronts moving in, and hopefully that activates better chances for rain and cooler temperatures. But yeah, right now it's pretty quiet. 80s in the afternoon and mornings in the 60s, and that's pretty much it. That'll be a rinse and repeat for most of next week as well. So. But again, if you have any questions about traveling, we'll talk update on the tropics later. We have Tropical Storm Oscar. I think it's a hurricane now. It's Category 1. North of the Dominican Republic, I believe. Again, I will show you the map in a second. And then we have Tropical Storm Nadine. That'll move into central Mexico tomorrow on Monday, but mainly a rainmaker for them. Not much here for us here in South Texas. The nights are cooler. What time? My name is Ryan Shoptaugh, Mr. Jason. I'm the weekend meteorologist here at Ken's 5. Bill Taylor does weekday nights. Paul Morales does weekday mornings. Maggie Laughlin does weekend mornings, and I do weekend nights. So we have a full staff of meteorologists here at Ken's 5. Jason, no hurricanes for Texas. Yeah, there have been like one or two in the last 150 years. I looked back at some of the data. There was Hurricane Jerry back in 1981 that hit Galveston, western Louisiana in the month of October, but frequently it's always east. Typically cold fronts and the strong jet stream steers any tropical systems away from Texas, but can it happen? Yeah. Is it probable to happen? No. It just doesn't really happen in October, but hurricane season technically goes until November 30th, so we like to always keep our guard up. But right now, no immediate threats to land for the U.S. in the immediate future. Nice to meet you too, Jason. Hope you're having a wonderful night. Thank you so much. When do we start seeing colder weather? From Sarah. Consistent colder weather? Probably like, late November into December. Winter officially begins on December 20th or 21st this year. That's the winter solstice. And typically by that time, our daytime highs are usually every day in the 70s, and then our mornings are typically in the 40s and 50s by that time. October is weird. October always offers year to year roller coasters. It can be extremely hot, and then sometimes it can be extremely cold. That's just how the nature is for October, specifically in South Texas. It's a lot different, obviously, farther north, but here in South and Central Texas, you just get a lot of peaks and valleys on the temperatures and so on the rain as well. So we'll see. You've seen people on TikTok saying no hurricanes for Texas. Yeah, again, is it possible? Yeah. Is it probable? No. We've seen, one or two, maybe a few hurricanes over the last century to hit Texas in the month of October. But yeah, you're right. We don't see a lot. Most of them move towards Florida, towards the East Coast, and more importantly, towards the open Atlantic. Texas just doesn't see a lot or the brunt of activity in the tropics in the month of October and November. But hurricane season does go until the end of November, so that's why we always have to keep our guard up. Time to go back to work on Monday after having 3 days off. That's a good weekend though, man. Having 3 days off consecutively, it's awesome. Especially in this weather. The mornings were comfortable and the afternoons were nice. That's good. Nice little long weekend. Monday is around the corner. Tomorrow is Sunday. If you have plans outdoors tomorrow, should be just fine. Any outdoor events should go off without a hitch. Again, my keyboard isn't working, so I have to do this manually, so bear with me, guys. 77 out the door. A little light breeze from the east and southeast at 8 miles an hour. Today's highs was a warm day, but it's kind of October-like. Typical highs this time of year is like 81, 82. We're at 86 today. No 90s on the map. That's some good news. We had some 70s, in the hill country towards Rock Springs. A high temperature of only 73 at Rock Springs. Felt awesome to the west and northwest. That was courtesy of additional cloud cover and some, light rain moving through our western half of the viewing area earlier today. But we saw a good amount of sunshine peek through the clouds from this morning and this afternoon. 77 right now, 60s in the hill country. A lot of 77s on the map from Pearsall to Del Rio, Cotulla, Carrizo Springs, Seguin at 77. It's a lucky number on this Saturday night. Very lucky number. Winds, not as breezy tomorrow, but still a light, gentle breeze from the east. 10 to 15 miles an hour. I wouldn't say that's windy, but a light breeze occasionally, progressively through the morning and afternoon. So that's, people always ask me those questions because sometimes they go out to the park on Sundays. They like to set the tents up for parties, birthday celebrations, things like that, festivities. And if the winds are gusty, that can create a problem. So just a light breeze tomorrow. It's not going to be windy, just occasional winds near 15 and 20 miles an hour. But overall, a lot lighter than today. Tomorrow's high, 85 degrees with a mixture of sunshine and clouds through lunchtime. And then overall, looking nice to wrap up the weekend. I think we top out probably around 87. I might have to change that because today we had 86. I think we'll be a couple degrees warmer tomorrow, probably about 87. So let me just fix that real time for you here on Ken's 5. So tomorrow, about, let's see, 2 p.m. Oh man, the keyboard's not working again. All right, so I'll do that a little later. But anyway, tomorrow, high near 87, probably maybe 88 in some areas, maybe pushing near 90 south of Highway 90, something to keep in mind. Shell, happy Saturday. Yes, happy Saturday to you as well, Shell. Hope you had a wonderful start to the weekend. Jason, it felt great. Yeah, having 3 days off. It's not a long vacation, but it is a longer weekend. It feels great. Oh my goodness, a whole year with no vacation. You need to burn that time, man. You need to take some time off. We're getting to the end of the year. November is around the corner, and then December is here. And then by the time we reach December, it's going to fly by through the holidays, and then before you know it, 2025 is around the corner, right? So make sure you take some time off, Jason. So tomorrow morning, I think it'll be clear, but if you're watching out west, anywhere from Hondo to Del Rio, there will be a dividing line of cloud cover, and some of these low clouds, these stratus clouds, may produce a passing light shower, maybe a few sprinkles. Something to keep in mind if you're traveling anywhere west of San Antonio, down Highway 90, for example. There will be a few showers out there, and that'll keep temperatures a little cooler than along I-35 and pointing east. Tomorrow's high, again, maybe 86 to 87, a couple degrees warmer than today to wrap up the weekend, the second to last weekend of October. The cloud cover tonight keeps the cool air aloft, so it won't be that cold in the morning. It depends on the time of year, Jason. Sometimes the cloud cover can actually act as a blanket, and that can insulate heat at the surface, because at night, the temperatures, the heat you maintain and retain during the afternoons, it releases out into the atmosphere at night. And the cloud cover can sometimes, if you have a low deck of clouds, that can act as a blanket and insulate the heat in and keep temperatures from cooling down dramatically. So a lot of times, like in winter, like December, January, February, when we get cold fronts moving in, we have clear skies, temperatures drop fast. I mean, that's what we call radiational cooling, and temperatures will drop below 32 in the overnights. But if you have a deck of cloud cover during the winter, that can sometimes, a lot of the times, keep temperatures above 32. And that's pivotal in wintertime forecasting for hard freezes, for obviously plants and vegetation. And we live in a big area in the hill country, South Texas, that's crucial. So sometimes the cloud cover can actually keep temperatures a lot warmer compared to clear skies in the overnights. So you get the words from Bill Taylor. Oh, Mr. Bill Taylor, I know. You get the cloud cover goes away good. Yeah, it just depends. I think overnight tonight we'll see some cloud cover to our west. But I think San Antonio stays mostly clear, and that'll help temperatures overnight stay and drop into the 60s for tomorrow morning. Again, my keyboard is not working, so let's go forward. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, all of next week, it looks like it won't be overhead, it won't be over Texas, but high pressure will be our main player in the weather flow, in the weather department. So what that's going to mean is just temperatures a little warmer than this past week. So just to put into perspective, earlier this week, cold front moved through. We had highs in the 70s, 78, 79, 80. By next week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I think highs will be 88, 89, 90 degrees, maybe 91 and 92 in some areas. So I think overall, the big takeaway for next week, warming up, heating trend. October warmth is taking over for at least the next 7 days. Beyond that, we'll see what unfolds and plays out. Hopefully another cold front moves in our direction. We're crossing our fingers for that to happen here in San Antonio. Tropics a little active. We talked about this. It's still hurricane season. Do hurricanes hit Texas in October? Not really. Has it happened before? We had Hurricane Jerry in the 1980s. But to answer anyone's question, hurricanes don't frequently visit Texas this time of year. They mainly push east, northeast, as you can see Oscar is doing. This is just I can't really zoom in right here. Oscar is a Category 1 hurricane, but notice the track. So it heads towards Cuba, skims the coast, heads east of the Bahamas, and then goes back over the open Atlantic. That is a traditional, typical climatology of a hurricane or a tropical storm this time of year. They move west, and then the westerly winds from the jet stream help push it farther east into the open waters of the Atlantic. Now, Tropical Storm Nadine, different story. That's moving into Mexico as we speak. That'll bring heavy rains into central Mexico and south of Mexico City, but not much action here in Texas. A lot of the moisture will remain to our south. All right, 14-day forecast. Jason is ready. All right, so today was 86, a couple degrees warmer tomorrow, 87 to 88. Small chance we see a passing sprinkle or passing shower. Better chance of that happening west of San Antonio, Hondo to Del Rio, Eagle Pass, Cotulla, Carrizo Springs. Better chance at you seeing a passing shower tomorrow. Otherwise dry, 87 to 88 Monday and Tuesday. A little bit of cloud cover on and off through the days of October, but look at the big temperature change, 91 Wednesday and 92 Thursday. And then by the following week, maybe a couple degrees cooler, maybe 89 to 90, but overall still trending way above the October average. We should be at like 80 to 81 in the afternoons. Instead, most days for the next 14 are trending into the upper 80s near 90. So, and again, will things change? Yeah, and hopefully some things do. Maybe a cold front moves towards us by the end of October, but right now it looks to be mainly warm. So that is the forecast. 89, we're forecasting for Halloween. A little warm in the afternoon, but for trick-or-treat time for Halloween night, should be comfortable in the 70s, not too cold. But again, things may change as we get more forecast data in, so always tune in to Kent's 5. Matter of fact, before I let you go, thank you, Jason. You have a great evening as well, sir. Download the Kent's 5 app. It's free. We have constant weather updates regarding, obviously, cold fronts, the heat that's moving in our direction for next week, the holiday forecast. We have updates on the tropics. Everything weather-related, we have local updates with our local meteorologists on the Kent's 5 app. Me, Bill Taylor, Paul Morellas, Jeremy Baker, Maggie. We're all doing, local forecasting. So download the Kent's 5 app. You can have the latest on everything you need to know. And in the meantime, tomorrow, 87, a little bit of cloud cover, but mostly sunny and even warmer by next week. Look at that, 90 to 91, maybe 92 by Thursday. That's about 10 degrees above October normal temperatures, meaning a heat wave is moving in. Not triple-digit heat, but talking 90s in October. That's pretty warm. And then Halloween, hopefully a couple degrees cooler. But overall, big takeaway is October warmth and the heating trend and less rain in the forecast.